Welcome to the Becoming Superhuman podcast, where we interview extraordinary people to bring you the skills and strategies to overcome the impossible. And now, here's your host, Jonathan Levy.
This episode is brought to you by Organifi. You know, the one thing that literally every single diet and nutrition expert that we've had on the show seems to agree on is that we need to eat more veg and get our greens and consume all natural products. But let's be honest. How many of us actually have the time? Well, recently I had the opportunity to meet some of the folks over at Organifi, and I've been absolutely blown away by them and their product. You see, Organifi is an organic superfood green juice powder that literally covers all your nutritional bases without having to eat 5 bowls of kale. It saves you loads of time, loads of money, and a lot of chewing. And really all you have to do is add water and drink it. So to check it out and save an incredible 20% off your first order, visit Organifi.com. That's ORGANIFI.com and use coupon code SUPERHUMAN at checkout. This episode is brought to you by Become a Super Learner, the Masterclass. You guys, if you have ever wanted to learn things faster, to read faster and waste less time reading boring textbooks, if you've ever wanted to have near perfect memory for names, numbers, anything you want to learn, and expand your mind and retain information in a way that you never thought possible, well, then the Become a Super Learner Masterclass is exactly what you've been looking for. It's a 10-week program developed by myself and my mentors alongside some of the world's best memory experts and world record holding memory champions. It'll take you from zero to super learning hero in just a matter of 10 weeks in about 30 minutes a day or less. Now, you can go ahead and sign up for a free trial with no credit card required. All you have to do is go to jle.vi/learn. And if you choose to pick up the full course, you will also get an incredible discount for listeners of this podcast only. So please make sure to check it out and support the show. And on to today's episode. Greetings, super friends, and welcome to this very special and exciting episode of the Becoming Superhuman podcast. But before we get into why it is special and exciting, I want to read out an awesome review from John W. Schwartz from the US of A, who says, "Great podcast, a wide range of topics, easy to listen to, and such a great variety of interviews, worth your time. H/T Anthony Metivier." I don't know what H/T means, but I also really like Anthony Metivier, and I really like your review. So thank you very much, John W. Schwartz. And if you guys haven't left a review yet, well, please do. On to today's very special guest. Well, today I'm not really sure how to label, categorize, or describe this guest. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's an author. He's a podcaster. He's an internet marketer. He's an eclectic. He's a business expert. He's a taco lover. He was employee number 30 at Facebook. He was employee number 4 at Mint. He's the entrepreneur behind such successes as Sumo and AppSumo. He's a very popular blogger, and he's regularly seen with and compared to such greats as Tim freaking Ferriss, Seth Godin, Ramit Sethi, and more. Oh, and by the way, he just paid $1.5 million for a freaking domain name because, you know, people do that. So anyway, I was really, really excited to do this episode because although today's guest and I have been in contact by email for years and years and years and years, we've never actually had the chance to sit down and have a real mind meld in real time. I really, really like this guy. I really, really like his work, and I think you are going to understand why immediately. So in the episode, we talk about really all kinds of stuff. He was a very interesting and quirky and insightful guest right out of the gate, which is something he's known for doing. And he dived into his very unique and effective learning philosophy. He also managed to be so interesting that I got through less than half of the questions that I prepared. And yet somehow I think that the interview is actually better for it. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. On my end, I definitely learned a ton of interesting skills and habits and ideas that I actually want to try out in my own life. And I think you guys will too. So if you guys do enjoy this episode and you do like this very special guest's insights on learning and productivity, I want to encourage you guys to check out my very own learning and productivity bundle, where I talk about a lot of these techniques and a lot of these different strategies and go into a lot of depth on how you can learn 3 times faster, remember 10 times more, read 3 times faster, and save as much as an hour to 2 hours a day by implementing the kinds of productivity hacks that my guest and I talk about today. So you can check that out by going to jle.vi/learn. And if you pick up a discounted copy of our Super Learner Masterclass, you will be emailed a special offer to upgrade to the bundle. And now I know you're wondering who this special guest is. Let me present to you Mr. Noah Kagan. Mr. Noah Kagan, welcome to the show, my friend. I'm so happy we finally got a chance to connect.
My man, Jay Levy in the house. What's up, brother? Is it Shalom Achi? So
Shalom Achi. Well done.
Yeah, Makore.
Practicing for your trip, hey?
Yeah, I got a Hebrew teacher, and so I've been practicing now for like 9 months.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's actually, there's a lot of interesting things about it. I know your whole audience and things you're about is learning. And so learning something from brand new, like baby level has been super interesting just for all aspects of life.
Tell me more about that.
A lot of different things. So number one, you learn how to learn again, right?
Yes.
I think what happens in life is that we get good at something. So like me, I love marketing and I'm good at marketing. And having to start over at something else helps me kind of like bring that perspective to marketing. Like, well, what other things do I not know and how can I learn? Secondly, it teaches me like, how do I actually like to learn, right? So I actually like things that are visual instead of just audio. I don't really learn as well audio. Third, this was actually one of the most surprising ones, is that you should test, like A/B test, how you're learning or who you're learning from. So I actually had an original Hebrew teacher and she went on vacation and I was like, well, let me try someone from italki. And literally in one session with someone else, I felt like I progressed like 5 to 10 times more. So that was just like, oh, wow, you shouldn't just assume that like the blog or the book or the teacher or the course is like the only way, and at least try another alternative. And then lastly, about learning, I mean, there's a lot. It's just been so interesting. I encourage everyone to go not just learn a language, but learn something brand new. And then lastly, I'll say if you want to get serious about learning, if you're actually trying to improve, there's 2 last parts. One, you got to put in some money, like put skin in the game to take it serious. And secondly, hire a coach or hire something or some way to be accountable. So I have my teacher every single Wednesday. And so I know that I'm going to see her ask, because a lot of other people, I don't know if you know this, Jonathan, or not know this, but you have friends that are like, yeah, man, I'm going to go learn crocheting. I love crocheting. I'm going to make you a scarf. And a few weeks later, they're like, yeah, I gave up on that. And I found just having that coach and accountability. You agree with that?
Absolutely. I made so much more progress with piano when I had the coach. And then exactly like that, I dropped off because I'm no longer accountable.
Yeah. And having the teacher there was just like, all right, well, I know I'm going to have class at Wednesday at 9. I got to get my homework done. I got to follow through with it. Versus like if it's just you on your own, you're like, I'll just do it next week. It's been really good. I've liked learning something new. I've liked growing. And I think what people need to do is they're doing stuff for their personal life or mental health or business. There should be some why, some reason that you want to learn it. Like my brother's learning Spanish and I'm like, how's your progress? He's like, not bueno. And I was like, what's going on, dude? He's like, yeah, I just kind of get doing it and blah, blah. And so the 2 things that I took away from talking with him about it, because I feel like I've progressed a lot in Hebrew, is number one, have a reason, like have your why. So for me, I want to go to Israel and I already booked my ticket so I could speak to my family there. So that was and it's a very strong motivator because I want to go there and be able to communicate and not just have to force them to speak English. And the second thing is I think when you get stuck in a plateau, right? I think of it like the gym, but my brother's stuck in a plateau, right? He's not growing. He's not learning. So there's 2 major important parts there, which is number one, you got to mix it up, right? Like if you're at the gym lifting the same weight for the past 6 months and you're like, my body looks the same. I wonder why.
Totally.
You got to be like, all right, well, I got to change some shit up. So change your routine, work out a little bit more, work out a little bit less, but change it if what you're doing is not working or getting you the results you want.
Absolutely. I mean, you just read off a crib list of kind of a lot of the stuff that we're teaching in our course where, the research does show that adult learners, unlike children, need to know why. Otherwise, their brain just shuts off. And then we call it brute force learning, which is change things up, learn from conversations, from tutors, from books, from magazines. Take in as many diverse sources as you can. And I think that's exactly what you've been experiencing. I'm looking forward to hearing your Hebrew when you're here.
Ani medber ivrit.
I love it. Amazing. So Noah, give us a little bit of context. I know we dove right into super interesting stuff, but I want to backpedal and kind of ask you how you would describe what you do today, because I'm not really sure how I would describe you besides serial entrepreneur. And then I also wanted to ask you, what would you say your superhuman ability is?
Well, I don't eat a lot of cereal right now. And I think too many people label themselves entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur sucks. And we can have a whole discussion about that later.
Totally.
I always think of it like the bar question, the what do you do question, when someone asks. Mm-hmm. For me, I love promoting things, right? So like, what do I do is like, I just promote amazing things that are created in the world to people that I think should know about them. And I think if everyone reflects on their history, there's some underlying theme or pattern. Whether you spend the time to figure that out or not is up to you. And so I recognize that, holy shit, like I just find products that I'm like super interested in, and I think other people will be too. And then I dedicate myself to getting the world to know about them. So right now, my like day-to-day things are two major projects. One is Sumo Group, right? And so we have two businesses, appsumo.com, which is a Groupon for geeks. Mm-hmm. So free newsletter for entrepreneurs. And then sumo.com, which are free marketing tools for websites. So if people are trying to take their website to a next level, they use sumo.com, the free tools. And then on my personal project, it's growing my podcast. So I've spent, so this year my personal project is like I spend all day doing blogging or YouTube or promoting the Noah Kagan Presents podcast.
Amazing. All right. That's a pretty good condensed summary there.
And then my superhuman ability, it was really interesting. I was talking to someone 2 weeks ago and they said, "Hey, Noah, you're not special." I was like, you're a dick. And, but then I thought of it. I was like, man, you're kind of right. Like, what makes me special? Everyone thinks they're special or wants to think they are special. And I realized that like, we all have some gift. Everybody does, right? Like my brother's gift is like researching. He can spend hours researching like a pen or like which earbuds to buy. And what I realized that I'm exceptional at is that I just go for things. Right. I don't hesitate and I just do it. So a lot of people will talk about stuff and I've heard people say this, like, I just get shit done, but I'm never impressed with they get done. And I think what I do is I figure out the highest priority items or business or leverage and I go make those things happen. And, subsequently I share it and write about a lot of that stuff like on okdork.com or wherever. But my superhuman ability really is like, let's talk about something. And then like the next day it's going to be there.
Right. And you're known for that.
Yeah. And it's not that every day I'm distracted by a next new shiny object. I want to clarify that. It's just more that like I will make things happen that I think will move a business forward significantly towards whatever my goals are.
Right. And you're known for that. You're known also for kind of having this very engaging personality, this very kind of humorous approach to the way that you do business, which I think,
Jonathan,
to give you a little bit of credit, is pretty freaking cool. I do want to ask you, though, to take us a little bit through your trajectory, because not many people can say that they started their careers by losing $170 million. So I want to figure out how you went from like this, oh shit moment, and I've heard you talk about that in the past, to where you are today, where like, you know what you're doing. You've got multiple successful businesses and are, really kind of in your element.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a journey, man. And the journey never stops, right? Jim Rohn said it well. It's like, you can't get fat at the table of success. And I was like, damn, Jim Rohn's so good.
So good.
Don't get fat at the table of success unless it's the Last Supper, and then you could do it.
Right.
I actually started my career at Intel. So I was a cubicle monkey, like a lot of the listeners out there that might have jobs they hate or shitty work or like crappy jobs. I was like, Intel. I think what differentiated me or separated me from my career trajectory was that I was doing projects in the morning and then at night and on weekends. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people want that, but are they really putting in the time for that? And they're not. That's why like right now I get up at 5 a.m. because it gives me the space to do projects and things that I'm really interested in without distraction. So I was just always making projects. Like I made a Craigslist for college kids. I did consulting for college businesses. I created a discount card called Ninja Card, which I hired interns on college campuses after I graduated to sell them. So I was always making things related to stuff I was interested in. And then Facebook, I just sent in my resume. I didn't have a connection. I wasn't like gifted. I didn't have like Harvard parents or anything like that. So I think the lesson, from Facebook, like how did I go from there to where I am today? A lot of it is that everyone is going to go through crappy times. So Jonathan, I'm sure you have a story. Maybe you can share it that like, hey, I faced adversity too. And I think me putting it out there helps people realize like, yeah, we're all going to go through it at different levels. And I think it's not that we go through adversity. Like it's impossible to go through your day without a problem. It's identifying your problems and then working on solutions to make the future better. So I've spent a lot of time like going to therapy, writing, sitting in a chair, doing what I call a self-diagnostic and processing like, all right, what are the problems going on? What are things I think I made mistakes on in business and personal and whatever? And then what is my plan to make that improved or better for the future?
Amazing. I did want to ask you about habits and routines and kind of daily practices that you do to perform at a higher level. I want to get more into the 5 a.m. thing, but specifically right now, I want to know what a self-diagnostic looks like. I mean, is this a pen and paper exercise or a meditative exercise?
Yeah. So I don't understand meditation. I feel like it's like what white people that are like either in crisis or do a lot of yoga do. Let your mind go blank and then fill it with everything. I'm like, which one should I do? I don't know. And I also, let's talk about as well, like why I feel like I'm in the right zone right now. Just in general, I feel like all aspects of life are firing and we can talk about that.
Happy to hear it.
But yeah, I mean, what I do with the self-diagnostic is I do it almost every morning. Like if I'm traveling, sometimes it's harder, but I actually will sit in a chair. So I have a chair in the corner that I really like. So get a super comfy chair. I have like a very nice chair that I love. I've actually been experimenting with light therapy during it. So you can buy these lights on Amazon. I think they're like $50 and it supposedly increases your happiness. So I'll turn on light for 15 minutes. And my self-diagnostic is kind of like running through the different things in my life going on. So what is my personal like relationships with others? What is my work? And then what is myself? And I kind of identify like what are different things happening? And then like, how do I want that to be? Right. Wow. And so it's kind of like a car, right? Like, in your car, you have that little check engine light. But for some reason, we're not like thinking we should have that with ourselves. I'm like, oh, I want my own check engine light. And yeah, so I do my self-diagnostic and I kind of identify things. So like this morning, and it's stupid stuff. People are like, well, what's the big inside thought? Well, like this morning, I realized I hate my hangers. I hate that like to take them off the like rail is very hard because they're too small. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, just buy new hangers.
Right.
Or I don't like that I have like a few different types of socks. So I was like, throw all the socks away and just get one pair of socks so you can never mismatch. And that was it on a like personal side. And then on my business stuff, I was like, oh, there's one person who needs some help with something. I should just tell him like, hey, can I help you a little bit more with the project you're working on? He's working on a conference. And so I reached out to him. And it just kind of gives me a nice reflection of like things I want to be solving throughout my day in those 3 different categories of life.
That's awesome. So it's in a sense kind of like a news feed where you're looking at the things that are coming up and kind of addressing them. You like that Facebook reference there?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's funny. I mean, I think about, those are kind of reflective ones. And then I think about how do I want the day to look today? And mostly what I've realized, Jonathan, especially people who listen to podcasts, they're generally, I've noticed, more educated and they're looking for self-improvement. Most people don't actually allocate time for thinking. Mm-hmm. They allocate time for like being on the computer or their phone. And the more time that you have away from that stuff, I find the more that you get inspired, the more creative, the more you actually get ideas and do the things that really move you forward. Mm-hmm. So I try to spend as much time as possible, like not on a computer. I've always had this funny thought, like when the computer goes up, the brain goes off, or when the computer turns on, the brain turns off. Because you kind of go into like, I've got to be clickety clack mode and less, let me think and process and, make better decision mode.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's so interesting that people think they need to go on a vacation or go on a hike to be inspired. And the truth of the matter is all they need to do is just get off their devices, which they happen to do on hikes and vacations.
Yeah, I would challenge all the people who got this up in their earlobes. Hello, we're in your earlobes. Like go like an hour without looking at your phone, mm-hmm. right? So like I can give some tips on like phone optimization because I think a lot about it, but I would challenge anyone just 1 hour. And you don't realize, even for me, it's hard. Totally. Like it's really hard. Like you're at dinner and you go to the bathroom and you're like, I should just take a peek, right? Not at your wiener, but at your phone. And you just like can't help it these days. And I think that's created a mindset that everything is short term. So actually like long, hard, deep work, like Cal Newport stuff. I love Cal Newport. If you guys haven't checked him out, that stuff takes time and commitment. Mm-hmm. So having these like frequent distractions is what people need to be trying to remove in their life. And I feel like I've done that, and that's not completely, but I've been working on that. And it's really helped me become more productive, and frankly, just happier in general.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've done is kind of reframe my phone exactly as that. So I no longer look at it. I used to look at it as this amazing device that connects me to all these wonderful people. And it is that in some sense. But now I look at it really as other people's agenda and kind of as a disruptive thing. And so doing that, it becomes much easier to push it off the way that you would push off annoying spam mail and stuff like that. And then set specific days where it's just very clear that you're not available. So all day today I'm in the studio and I'm just not available. You can't reach me today, you know?
Yeah, your phone is your employee.
Right.
Like, I think a lot of people have their phone as their CEO. I'm like, you are the boss of your phone. You boss that shit around. You tell it what to do. And I think most people are just kind of slaves to it. And so it's figuring out how to like work on your relationship with your iPhone or Android. So here's a few things that I just highly recommend if you actually want to be, and one, I just find myself happier. Life is not to me like, how do I make as much money or how do I get as much work done? It's like, how do I get the fulfillment and satisfaction out of the things I do personally and professionally? So that is why I recommend the optimizations that I've done, because I find myself significantly happier.
Agreed.
So number one, in settings for notifications on my phone, I turn everything off.
Right.
Right. I don't get notifications. Right. So if you text me, I won't know. If you call me, I won't know. And I'll miss calls, right? So if I have to like have a call, I'll have to be like, okay, I need to know that there's gonna be a call. But I turn off all notifications, I turn off vibration, and I turn off audio, right? So it doesn't make me just like, you ever been at a lunch meeting or you're like working and then you hear the buzz and you're like, well, I got to find out what the buzz is. That's like, it's like a hit,
right,
you know, of nicotine or whatever it is. So I turn off all notifications, all sound, all text. Number two, I remove all my social apps. I don't have anything social on my phone besides one, which is Snapchat, because it's Noah Kagan, Noahkagan, because I literally only spend about a minute max on it.
Right.
And what I realized is that I was spending 10 minutes on Instagram or Facebook a day, even if it's like motivating stuff. But I think what people should do themselves, so if this is up in your earlobes, reflect after the time you spent today on your phone. What have I gotten out of this? Reflect on what you've gotten out of it. And I reflected, I was like, I wake up in the morning, I don't have my phone in my room, I go to the phone and I look at shit and I'm like, I'm no better at all. And not that everything has to be like maximum efficiency, superhuman 24/7, but I was like, this doesn't make me better. So I was like, well, what do I think would make me better? So I removed all my social apps and I put in more brain apps. I use chess.com. My username is OKDork if you want to play me. I use like Memrise to learn Hebrew. It's a free app for language. I use Pocket to learn things about just different articles that I want to get distracted during the day. And I actually don't have many more apps that I'm using frequently. You know, I have my to-do list and notes. But what I realized by not having that stuff, the absence of it, it actually like keeps my brain fresh versus like constant distract mode. So whatever I'm thinking of doing, it keeps me kind of focused on that stuff.
Yeah, I agree on all the above. You've taken it to a next level, which is I still have Slack notifications and Messenger, but I think I'm going to try and push through that discomfort and try it out for a week.
Okay, do it right now. Here, you asked what my superhuman is. Just set it up right now. So go into your notification, go to settings and notifications, Slack, and just turn it off. And I do this on my computer too. So I actually do the opposite on my computer, specifically meaning that if you have a Mac out there, I don't know if you have a Mac, it feels like all us hipsters do.
Of course.
Go to your notification bar in the top right. Do you know the notification thing on the side? And then go to the bottom of it. There's this little gear wheel.
Yep.
So in the gear wheel, it has a do not disturb mode. So once you click the gear, and I have my do not disturb mode on during the daytime. Apple makes it for the nighttime.
Totally.
And I'm like, no. So I have my do not disturb from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that's also why I get up at 5 a.m. because you have to self-diagnose and reflect on like when you're at your peak productivity. So the way you can get in peak productivity is removing all distractions.
Totally.
So this is just one of the things. So like do it right now, turn off your notifications, turn it off. And then this is I'd say one of my main themes that I've been going through in the past 6 to 12 months. I'm not saying everything I suggest people should just do. Yeah. Send Noah Kagan $1 million. We should just keep saying subconscious thoughts.
Right.
What I am suggesting is you should be optimizing your life through testing.
Agreed.
And what that means is try turning off notifications for a week and see how your life changed or not. Right. Like I'm doing all these challenges this past few months. And it helps me reflect on what I like in my life and what I don't like. So like no drinking. I'm like way happier, like way more like consistent, way more fulfilled, not drinking or doing any mind altering stuff.
Yeah.
Or like caffeine or waking up at 5 a.m. I experiment with these different ideas for yourself that you're kind of a little uncomfortable about. And then you're like, holy shit, life is better or life is worse. Like caffeine, I like it. So I added it back in after a week. Or 5 a.m. I love it. So now I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. during the work week. And so I think that's the whole point that my theme for this year, which is just like optimizing your life through testing.
Absolutely. I really love that. And I think that's such an important message, especially in the context of, this is episode 120 something, and every episode we have so much great stuff. And I think people can be overwhelmed and either preclude or try to take on too much. And exactly what you're doing is the way to go through. Just try everything once, right? So I could turn that back on you and be like, Noah, try meditation. Just 1 week, right?
No, I think the weekly thing is pretty good. That's generally what I do. Mm-hmm. And the way I think about that is I don't want to do a bunch at once. But when you have the idea for it, just do it. So for example, I was talking with this girl I'm seeing and I was like talking about caffeine and I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow then. Right. Like we were talking at night and I was like, okay, cool. I'll start tomorrow for a week. And then I did it for a week. Mm-hmm. Or other ones, a friend of mine and I were texting and he was like, man, life is so much better when I work out. And I was like, well, why don't we just do a challenge? And he's like, what are you going to do? I was like, well, you seem like you're always happy when you're running. Why don't you do a 100-mile challenge in 1 month? And he's like, well, you have to do it too. And so I'm doing the 400-mile challenge where I have to bike 400 miles in 1 month. And I found that like just doing these kind of experiments and doing them, one a week, one a month, whatever it is, has made my life more interesting, happier. And then I've added and subtracted things from my life that have really made it just significantly better.
Incredible. Walk me through the laundry list. What else have we not covered of those optimizations? Of
the challenges and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, the way I look at it is number one, you pick a word for the year. So my word for the year, and I have it, I'm looking at my refrigerator because you want to see things.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I'm a true believer that like you want to see that shit over and over and over and over and over. Why do we read books? Everyone talks about reading books. I love reading books. Mm-hmm. It's literally a blog post 300 pages over because it's one message that you need to keep seeing.
Right.
So my word of the year is discomfort, and I have it on my fridge, on my phone, on my laptop. I have it everywhere. So a few of the different challenges that I've been doing, one is no apologies. So I did a no apology month. I noticed that I like apologize, or let's just say, like, here's an example, Jonathan. I have money. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have more money than most people. And normally what I would do is be like, oh, but I got fired and life sucks. And it's like, no, don't have to apologize for doing things.
Right.
You don't have to be arrogant or rude or cocky, but don't apologize. That's a challenge I've been doing. Let me pull up my challenge list.
Yeah, let's have it.
I did no coffee for a week. So that was an interesting one. The 400-mile bike ride. Here's one that everyone can do right now. Do you like that? Do you want to challenge everyone can just do it now? All right. And so I'll do it with you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you want to do it with me too?
Yeah, I'm in, man.
Dude, I love it. All right. So I want you to text someone who knows you well. So who's someone that knows you well?
Depends on the context of well, and depends what you're going to say next.
Well, let's just pick a person. So here's the thing I've realized with challenges. Two things are really critical. One, you have to commit to it ahead of time, because a lot of times it's easy to be like I talked to this guy last week and I was like, he's like, man, I really want to make more money. I want to start a business. And I was like, all right, you want to challenge? He's like, yeah, I definitely want to challenge. I was like, all right, well, you commit to the challenge. He's like, yes. So two things. One, you got to commit, and you got to have a consequence.
Okay.
Meaning that like the 400-mile challenge I'm doing, where I have to bike 400 miles and my friend has to run 100 miles. Mm-hmm. Is that the consequence is if we don't follow through, what's the punishment?
Right.
So if either of us don't do it, we have to buy each other a first-class ticket anywhere in the world.
Crap.
So it has to be something you really don't want to do, because people are like, oh, $20. I'm like, that's nothing, right? $20 wouldn't motivate. But to like buy this guy an $8,000 ticket or however much he spends. So here's the one I'm challenging you.
All right.
So think of someone close to you in your life. Like, who's the person you're thinking of? Just someone close. First person that comes to mind.
All right. I got someone.
Who's that?
I don't really want to shame her on the podcast.
No. There's nothing bad. No, this is all about you. It's nothing about
We'll just say she's HB.
HB. Okay.
HB.
Harry Potter's sister.
Okay.
So I want you to text this person right now, and everyone in their earlobes do it too. I'm texting my friend JR.
Okay.
And here's what you text them. I'll give you this is the challenge.
Okay.
You text them this. What is one thing that you like about me and one thing you think I can improve about myself?
All right. I'm going to preface it with question in front. Question. What is one thing that I just talked to this person 10 minutes ago. So, all right. What is one thing that you like about me? And the second piece, one thing
that I can improve. You will learn so much about yourself. Like, I think we don't leverage our network enough, which is a whole nother episode, but just go ask someone that this is a challenge. And you're like, oh, it's kind of like this is, in terms of my word of the year, is discomfort. So the things that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do that. That's what I do.
Totally.
Like, that is my compass. When like I'm a little bit anxious about it, I go into it. So other challenges, you guys all just did it. Good. Tell me what you learned. Post a comment on Jonathan's blog, or if you tweet me, Noah Kagan or okdork.com, let me know what you learned. But that's one. I did the coffee challenge. So no coffee for a week. I've been doing the 5 a.m. challenge. So that was waking up at 5 a.m. I did basically I call it dry challenge. So nothing mind altering. And I've actually been doing that. I did it for a month and I loved it so much. I've been doing it now in month 2 because I found that like drinking, not smoking, no drugs, whatever it is, actually just makes me super happy.
Same. I'm on almost second year now. The last time I got drunk was on this podcast.
What happened on the podcast?
We each drank a bottle of wine and nothing happened on the podcast. The podcast was phenomenal, I think. But I just woke up with the worst hangover and like sick for a day, you know? It's like, no mas, don't need it.
No bueno.
No bueno. Not
try
bueno.
It out. That's the thing. Just go try these out. Don't do social media for a week. Say yes day. So for challenge could be for one day, you have to say yes to everything. 2 other ones that I've thought about recently were doing what you really want challenge. So, you know, during a day, you're like, someone wants to meet you and you're like, yeah, okay. Or like you have to do like some stuff you have to just do, right? Like you're at a job, there's certain work you have to do, but there's a lot of stuff you don't have to actually do. So do a day where you do what you really want, like the choose you challenge. That's what I've been doing. Cause I did some things like I went to a meeting and I had like a night date with a friend of mine, like a guy, not a date, but a night hangout. And I was like, I don't want either of these things. And so I wrote on my board, do the choose you challenge, like all day, do what you really want.
Yeah.
A few other things like have fun challenge. This is a kind of a silly one, but I was doing a podcast episode with someone else. I was doing an interview to talk about Noah Kagan Presents, my podcast. For the people listening, go check it out. And I was not having fun. And I was like, dude, it's supposed to be fun. So I'm doing a have fun challenge. Just make sure during the day, like, all right, how can I make this more fun or how can I have fun with it?
I love it. I love the way that you think about things. Go on.
Well, yeah, it's the self-diagnostic. I'm like, so for example, self-diagnostic, and this is how you make life epic. Something goes bad. Awesome. How can I make it better next time? Example, yesterday I did an interview with my buddy Ian from Tropical MBA, and I love Ian. He's one of my closest friends. The interview sucked, in my opinion. In my opinion, not because of Ian. It's always your responsibility. I actually wrote that down. It's always your responsibility.
Totally.
So the interview sucked, and I was like, well, what happened? And I was like, Ian, what do you think happened? Why this wasn't great? It was good, not great. And you guys, everyone know, Jonathan, you know, I know when we do great work. We all know.
Yep.
And he's like, well, you didn't prepare at all. And I was like, you're so right. Like you get out what you put in. You're putting in a little bit of work. Don't expect a big business. Putting in a little bit of gym effort or diet exercise. Don't expect a good body. Like you want better relationships. You got to put in a lot.
Totally.
And so that was my kind of like self-diagnostic. Okay, this situation was bad. So now like I have an interview later today with David Hauser from Grasshopper and Tynan, who's a good friend of mine. I'm spending more time preparing. And I do believe that will help.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, you're going to get out what you put in. So that's on my board, preparation challenge. And then lastly, I'll do one more because we're Jewish. So we get a lot of flack for like, oh, you're cheap. And one of my challenges that I've really enjoyed has been my tipping challenge. And so my tipping challenge is whatever I'm normally going to tip, I have to tip more than that. Okay. So I don't have a percent. So people are like, Noah, does that mean it's only a penny more, you Jew? And I'm like, dude, stop with the Jew jokes. Like, stop with the Jew jokes. We get it. But I'll give one more challenge too, because people really love challenges. But whatever I tip, I have to tip more. And if I think about tipping, like let's say it's normally not a thing you would tip for, you tip. So an example is like I got this taxi guy drove me and I hate being in a taxi because I'm like literally staring at the meter. I'm like, this guy is just screwing me. But we were in the rain and it was like a $25 taxi ride and he was the only one that got us and he had a great attitude about it. So I tipped him $15 on a $25 ride. Wow. And you just feel great about yourself. It also kind of like, I think it's good karma. So if you want to make more money, give away more money.
Agreed.
So that was one. And then the last challenge, and I will be done. I will stop giving you challenges. If you want to hear more, let me know, is the cold shower challenge. And a lot of like Tony Robbins and all these other guys are talking about it, but try it out for yourself. So I do, after a workout, I'll do an entire cold shower. And during like a normal day where I just haven't worked out right away, I'll do like 75% of my shower hot and then the last 10 seconds cold. And some of it is like, why are these white people doing all these silly things to their bodies? And what I've realized is that if you can practice discipline, if you can practice getting through challenges, if you can practice some discomfort, it makes you more powerful to then take on bigger challenges in life. And Arnold says it really well. It's like, if you can build the muscle of discipline, right, you can apply that to anything you want.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's something that I'm constantly working on developing. And I think all of these different challenges and iterations really speak to kind of your learning methodology and how you've repeatedly used it and even refined it throughout your life to succeed in different areas, which I think is just so fascinating, so emblematic of what we try to kind of put out every week.
Yeah, I mean, it works for me. That's what the whole point is. Like, I think why people, like, I have some appeal is that I don't talk down to people. I don't tell people what to do, is what I've realized. Because I just do things myself and kind of share what that is. And I hope people can experiment and let me know the results.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that, because I know you're really widely regarded as someone who has made specifically entrepreneurship more accessible to everyone. And I remember, Tim Ferriss called upon you to kind of lend a hand while he was teaching entrepreneurship during the Tim Ferriss experiment, Tim Ferriss show, whatever it was called. And I want to ask you why, because as you said, I mean, your kind of superpower is like promoting and getting products out there, but you've taken all this time out of your life to encourage people to become entrepreneurs and to make it easier for them and to kind of give them the do it now jumpstart challenge that only Noah Kagan can do. And why do you think that is? And why do you think your approach is so different to entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So number one, I hate most entrepreneurs. And I know that sounds kind of like, oh my God, really? Yeah, I hate them. Because what they want is they want this dream that's not realistic. They're like, oh, I'll just start a company in 1 week. It'll be making a bunch of money. And then I could finally have the life I want. And they're not willing to suffer. And that's what frustrates me. So when I give advice or when I share things, I'm really trying to share with people who want to be successful or who are successful. I'm not trying to help with the entrepreneurs or the posers. I just don't care. And I have no sympathy for that. No apologies. For me, there's a lot of satisfaction of sharing like things I like and then seeing people get results from it. What I believe my superpower is in terms of starting businesses where most people make mistakes. And what I realize is that people don't want my advice or they don't want my feedback. They want to do what they think will work. It's going to fail most of the time. And then they'll be open to trying something else out. So in terms of the business stuff, I think what my superpower is that number one, I don't do opportunity businesses. So I don't read a blog post about, oh, Amazon affiliate, I can import it from China and make some money. Like, I just don't, right? It's a waste of time. Life is too precious to be wasting it on like opportunity bullshit.
Right.
So number one, I just make things I want, right?
Yes.
So create businesses that you want, right? Because if no matter what it fails, you're always going to be happy because you have something you want.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's like, I want. And I'll give you an example. So number one, pick something you want to exist in the world or a problem you want solved. And number two, figure out what is the actual problem and the simplest way to implement it within 48 hours. And that's where people just won't do it. They're like, Noah, I need this, I need that. I'm like, there's a reason I do it this way. Like, I've spent years and hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it the way that you think you're going to do it.
Right.
And it's not going to work. It may work. Think of it this way. Here's a very simple analogy. If you're trying to drive to the supermarket, do you just get in your car and start driving, assuming you don't know where it is? No, you don't. What do? You look up a direction. And then once you have your destination, what do? Well, you create a route. All right. And what most people do is they just get in their car and they're like, well, I'll probably get to the destination, like the supermarket, when I get there.
Right.
So what I encourage most people to do is pick a problem you want. Pick a limited capacity of time. Limit your time. Limiting time increases creativity. And from there, execute on it quickly. So let me give you an example.
Yes.
One of the number one problems in sumo.com, which is our free marketing tools for small businesses, small websites. One of the number one problems in our company is recruiting. We have 43 people. They're all dope. I love all of them. I'm trying to think if I don't like anyone, but no, I do like all these people. And recruiting is our hardest problem. And I was talking to someone about recruiting. I was like, man, the best way to do recruiting is through referrals. And I was like, there's not really a good way to like do referral recruiting. What if we could solve that? And I was like, well, what if I could just import everyone's contacts from LinkedIn and then just search through it? That would be super easy. And I was talking to someone about it and I was like, all right, I'll just do that. And so it's actually one of the number one problems in our business. It'll help us, move faster. And, it's something I want. So what you could really do that's really simple for anyone who wants to do this is just literally in LinkedIn, you could export your contacts. LinkedIn, just search LinkedIn export contacts, right? And then you can have two other people at your company do it and then put it on a Google spreadsheet or on an Excel list. And then you could just search through their contacts and it's really, really easy. And so I was like, well, that's actually kind of cool because I was searching through my contacts through the Excel spreadsheet. And I was like, oh man, this is good. And if you get a few other people, you can put on the spreadsheet and search through them. And then I was like, man, other people have probably got to want this. So I hit up some developers and literally in a day, I just had a website where I could upload my CSV and search it.
Yep.
And then I sent it to the recruiter on our team. I was like, hey, is this actually something you think you'd really want to use? Because I like it so far. Just like, dude, this is amazing. This would save me hours of time.
Wow.
And that's actually how a lot of my big success comes from. It's not, oh, there's this market size is $1 billion and I'm going to go get a chunk of it. It's like, I just really want this solved for myself. And it makes it easy to keep developing or working on it. Cause I'm like, oh, well, I need that feature. And that is annoying. And I can keep kind of improving it and enjoying it.
That's literally how every one of my successful businesses has started. And every one of my failed ones has been like, well, the advertising industry, it's exactly the line that you just said. Like, advertising is this big of an industry. And if we could just capture, it's totally that. It's totally that.
I concur. Nachon.
So talk to me about this. Do you think anyone could be an entrepreneur, and do you think anyone should?
So I just want to highlight just 2 things from the previous stuff. Number 1, keep things simple. So number 1, that's why I think I'm good. I just like, what is the bait? So that idea that I just told you, other people would spend 6 months building like this referral recruiting thing and not doing anything. Mm-hmm. And literally in a day, I had a solution. Right. So I think everyone needs to think it's simple. Like, what's the problem? And limit yourself to 48 hours to actually have something done.
Yes.
And you'll actually figure out the root. And literally every single business can be this. Like, name one business and I will challenge you. Like, anyone can challenge me. How would you validate this business? I will guarantee you I can do it. Right? Like Google. How would you build Google in a day, Noah? Well, what does Google do? They go find information. So give me something that you want me to find and I'll find it for you.
Right. Will you pay me? Yes, no.
Right?
If you will, I have a business.
Yeah. Facebook could literally be a Google spreadsheet where people upload their information. That's it. It's just a contact database.
Right.
But most people want to overcomplicate things and then take too long and waste a bunch of money. And then they'll do what I've already done, years ago.
Yeah, so I think it's fear, to be honest. I think people are afraid of actually selling because the longer they push off the product, the more beautiful it's going to be. And especially engineers make this problem where they're like, well, if I make it beautiful enough, then I won't have to sell. The product will sell itself, which is horse shit. And I think it's pulling off this like, well, dude, I can't go sell an Excel spreadsheet. That's like embarrassing. I don't want to do that. That's the real core, when in fact you just don't have that. You're like, well, if this rocks and I can sell this, then I can definitely sell a full suite of products that actually work.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. It's funny. I just literally read like an article about a developer who was like, man, I really wish I knew sooner.
Totally.
What was the question you asked me? Excuse me.
Yeah, I was just asking, essentially, do you think anyone can be an entrepreneur? And do you think anyone should?
I think everyone can. And a lot of the big success stories, like Sarah Blakely is one of my favorites. She literally just started selling something herself. She was like a copier saleswoman or fax saleswoman and bootstrapped $1 billion business. Right. So I think, and it's not that's impressive to me. I'm like, anyone can do it. Mrs. Fields Cookies, right? She started making cookies and people are like, I want that cookie. So I think number 1, if you're trying to start a business, just look at what people already like that you do. Mm-hmm. Or look at what you do that people are always like, this is what I do. When I'm doing an interview on my podcast, Noah Kagan Presents, I'm always looking for how people react to a question or something I've done. And it's that like pulse where like the pulse is a little bit different that I'm like, oh, something's happening there. And so that's how you can kind of identify a business. So like look at stuff you've done in the past, people always kind of responded well to, or a problem that you want solved. Secondly, here's what I've come up with the 4 Ps. And no one actually wants to be an entrepreneur, right? What everyone wants is the 4 Ps, right? So the 4 Ps specifically are, everyone wants to work on a product that they like. Mm-hmm. They want to work on something that has a purpose. They want to work with great people, and they want to get paid. Mm-hmm. So those are the 4 Ps of business. And it doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're an employee, as long as you get the 4 Ps, who cares? Right? You're like, well, I want to have freedom. Okay. So do you have the freedom? Like, do you have a purpose and freedom in that? Mm-hmm. Right? Does that actually give the freedom? Are you getting paid the level of money that you think you're worth? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I would go be an employee at a company if I got that stuff. Like, I'd have no problem. Like, I would quit Sumo and go do it. But Sumo gives me my 4 Ps, right? I like our product. I like our purpose. We help small businesses become big. I love the people and I get paid well. So like, that's great. So I think people need to like think less about being an entrepreneur and more about like the fundamental, and then figure out the best way to get that.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people, when they go into business, they forget about those 4 Ps. Specifically, the example that you gave is a great one, which is like, I'm looking at this market opportunity. It doesn't really have any purpose for me, but I just know that, women under the age of 30 are going to love it. And I'm like, is that something that's like relevant for you? Does that make you sing? Does it make you, hop out of bed in the morning, excited to get to work? And they're like, not really, but it's an amazing opportunity, which I think, is exactly why people burn out.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I mean, it's easy to quit when times are tough. Like, and no matter what level you're at, like starting out, job, or running a big company or running like a public company, you're going to have problems. Mm-hmm. It's just inevitable in your personal life and in your business life. Like, it's just not possible to. Even like toilet paper's out. or there's traffic. Like there's always problems. And I think it's how you deal with that really defines yourself.
Totally. So besides recruiting, what other problems are you guys facing right now in your organization?
Yeah, so I put out an article on okdork.com about like the challenges we face growing to an 8-figure company. And it wasn't as a brag. It was just like, here are things that I think other people can learn from. Number one is communication, right? So how do you communicate as you go from 3 people around a table to 40 people? Number 2 is speed. So how do you keep speed up while, moving at a pace you like? And number 3 is recruiting, right? Like I think our purpose is very clear. Like we help small businesses become big. Our product roadmap is clear. It's just like, how do we increase communication, speed of it, and getting the right people to do it?
Right. Amazing. And I imagine that the way up and out of this, I mean, I should read the blog post first and foremost. So check that out, guys, okdork.com. But I imagine the way out of that is a lot of these kinds of self-diagnostics.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff, one of the things we did in our business that was super helpful is like near the end of 2016, I made a list of every single problem in our business. I said, well, we don't differentiate enough. Our churn is too high. Our pricing is a bit off. And then I actually thought through the answers. Mm-hmm. And this is where I want to get better and work on, which is like preparing for things, right? It's easy to like in the moment think of answers, but I think if you list out your problems and then prioritize the problems and then actually give solutions and then run through that with your partner, my partner's Chad, who I love, it makes it easy to kind of have, work through then, all right, let me go solve those things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. I really, really like that. So no, I know we're running on time here. I do want to ask you kind of some rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
First, you are the guy who finds products for geeks. I mean, at AppSumo. So
AppSumo.com. That's actually, just so quickly, that's Eamon and Ullman and that team. Those guys run it. They should get all the credit.
Okay. All right, cool. So those guys, but still you are kind of a maven in the sense that you find really, really cool products. What are the tools and products and services that you just could not live without?
So tools that I've been really enjoying lately, I always like doing ones that people haven't heard of yet. Mm-hmm. So Typing Bolt is a new one I just found. It's to improve people's typing speed. I think most people don't realize that, like, how do I get a better app? I'm like, look, you suck at typing or you have a shit computer. Like, focus on the big wins, not the little wins. Or like getting a faster computer will 10x your productivity. Like getting another app won't.
Totally.
So I upgrade whatever's fastest, I'll just pay for. I spend this is a good example. We're getting a new office and we're building a bar and a kitchen. We spend 90% of our time eating in the kitchen for lunch at sumo.com. We have free lunches and we drink like 5% a week, right? On Friday for happy hours. And sometimes I guess they do Thursdays. So should we make a bigger bar or a bigger kitchen?
Bigger kitchen.
Yeah, it depends on the alcoholics you're asking.
Sure.
Exactly. So maximize the things that you're spending the maximum time at, right? Like here's a quick challenge for everyone up in your earlobe. Go throw away the clothes that you haven't worn in 6 months. Just focus on the clothes you actually do wear and improve them and keep happy with them.
Totally.
So in terms of apps, things I love Better Snap Tool. It makes it easy to move things around your screen really easily.
Yep.
Typingbolt.com has been a great one for improving typing speed. I like a lot of like Chrome extensions, right? Like I love Newsfeed Eradicator. That's been one of my favorites. There's a browser thing called Leo, Leoh, really nice for just having a simple new tab in Chrome. In terms of productivity, like I'm trying to think of phone or like other computer ones, but I think that's good for now. Better Snap Tool I'm liking. Alfred's good for opening things on your Mac. Hazel app is another one, which is automating tasks on your Mac.
Oh, I like that. I haven't heard.
Yeah, if you're not using Hazel, you are significantly missing out. Hazel app. Oh, here's a cool one I found on my phone that I really like called Tape a Call. So it's not to be creepy, but like I make calls and I'm like, man, I really wish I recorded that call. So you can just use Tape a Call to record any of the calls you're having.
Amazing.
Last one. This is not public yet, but you can go request access. It's called Fika. My buddy Ari Meisel from lessdoing.com, another Jew, recommended it, Fika. And basically it's like you know how like you have Sketch, which is great for a Mac. You can do like designs and draw stuff. This helps you do mockups and like feedback on your phone. So if you want to do a video or draw something or screenshot, it's really easy.
Cool. All right. Those are really good ones. On Alfred, I will say I'm a Quicksilver man. I love Quicksilver. I find it's a little bit more expendable, but the rest of them I love.
Yeah, Quicksilver I had before. So Quicksilver and Alfred, for everyone listening, it just makes it easy to open any app or do quick information or quick tasks on your phone, on your laptop or desktop. But I just found Quicksilver slower to load, and I'm very sensitive about that.
Totally.
So that's why I use Alfred. One thing that everyone could do, and this is one of my favorite tips that everyone always loves, is go speed up your mouse speed, your trackpad. Like I have it on full blast, and it takes like 10 seconds to get used to. But if you literally right now just speed up your track speed, you're going to get so much more done.
Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't thought
People
of that.
love that one. Every time I tell it, people are like, I can't believe it. Where'd you think of this? I'm like, well, I was using my mouse. It was slow. And I was like, why not speed that shit up? And I can get my mouse to the places I want to go sooner.
I love that. I'm going to do that right now. I'm taking the Noah Kagan lesson away from this. If I learn nothing else, is just do shit now.
Do it right now. Because hesitation like is the enemy of, that's a good way of putting that. But like hesitation is the enemy of not effectiveness, but like of getting it done.
Oh my God, this trackpad speed. Sorry.
Dude, it takes like a second, but
were you saying something?
So much. Yeah. So like hesitation is the enemy of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you just start hesitating and then you psych yourself out. The other thing is I have videos on YouTube under Noah Kagan. And I put up a video about how I use Gmail. So my suggestion there is like, go learn the Gmail shortcut. So if you're in Gmail, do Shift ? And learn shortcuts or watch my video. Because if you can actually figure out like how to use a lot of the keyboard shortcuts in Gmail, like focus on the things you spend the most time on. You're a lot of time in email. You're a lot of time on your computer. You're a lot of time using your mouse. And just optimize those. And then the smaller things, well, which app are you using for your notes? I'm like, who cares, right? If it takes 4 minutes for my phone to load.
Phenomenal. All right, cool. My mouse is so fast, I can't get back to my questions.
Dude, you're going to get so much shit done. You're like, oh my God, I'm so productive. I'm so like life's so much better.
So much better. Let me ask this. What books have most impacted your life?
That's a hard one. I thought about that. I saw your question. There's so many good books, right? And I think mostly what happens with books is you take away one thing, right? So there's a lot. And on okdork.com, I have the 18 books that changed my life the most. I would say number 1, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I want to just repeat the more important thing. It's not about 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It's more about if you find a book that's changed your life, this is for you, Jonathan, and for everyone listening, go reread it again.
Yes.
Right? That's the part that people are missing. People are like, oh yeah, like this is cool. Like that was a good book. I'm like, well, when you find a good song, do you ever listen to it again? They're like, yeah, I listen to it all the time. Why? Because it's so good. I get so much out of it every time. I'm like, well, why don't you do that with the other stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I see Sex at Dawn here. Phenomenal book. Really, really love that one.
Yeah, dude, there's so many good books, so you can check that. I'd say 7 Habits. Number 2 is Ultimate Sales Machine. 7 Habits is good for just everything in life. Ultimate Sales Machine has just like so much business knowledge in it. And the last one, I was like, I wanted to surprise her for like books that impacted my life. I would say The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up.
Yes.
It has been this book where it's about cleaning your house, but there's somehow this like weird like philosophy in the book about like just focusing on the things that give you joy. And I've actually taken a lot of that to my business where do I have blog posts that don't give me joy anymore or are old? Yes. And so I removed them, or YouTube videos. So on okdork.com, I removed 600 of my articles. I unlisted them out of 700 over the past 15 years. So it's a lot of my stuff, but I was like, what are the ones that represent me from the past and then in the present? On YouTube, I like removed, what did I do? On YouTube, I removed, I think, around 100 videos. So only the videos I think really represent who I am in the past as well as now. And I think people just need to go and do a spring cleaning on everything in their life, not just their clothing.
Yeah.
And you realize like, man, I'm going to die. I can't be buried with a snowboard. And if I'm not using it, let it go. Let someone else enjoy it. So that book, Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, highly recommend.
Totally. I hired a stylist actually, mainly for the purpose of just going through all my clothes and being the cutting board and saying like, this has to go, this doesn't work, this barely fits. So much better. So much better. No, I want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, I got 4 minutes, but thank you for, I gotta go catch a plane.
Rock on. Okay, so very good. Where can people, I mean, do you have like a website or like how do people, like maybe are you going to get into podcasting? Tell me like how do people find you?
So I just want to tell people, here's a quick tip. And people always love tips and things they could do. If you have a business and you are on stage, you are getting interviewed, you are talking about something, you have to mention your company, sumo.com, or your blog, okdork.com, or your podcast, Noah Kagan Presents, or your YouTube channel, Noah Kagan on YouTube. If you don't mention it 7 times, people won't actually go do it.
True.
And so that's why when you'll hear me in an interview, like or on stage, I say my company name a lot. Right. So I wanted to get in someone's head like, oh, well, if I want free marketing tools, sumo.com is where I'm going to go. Or if I want to learn more about Noah, okdork.com. So that is why. And I just want to caveat this. People are like, well, I don't want to say something like this. I don't want to say something. It's like, I'm proud of what I'm doing. I love the work we're putting out for my personal stuff as well as our business stuff. So I have no problem sharing it. I think it's better for people.
Agreed.
And that's why I'm happy to go and put the word out there.
Agreed. So no, I got one last question that we'll close on here, which is if people take away just one message from all the incredible wisdom that you've shared today, and they carry it with them for the rest of their lives, what would you hope for that to be?
Man, you just love asking easy questions, don't you?
That's a good one, right? Good and easy.
It's an interesting one. I mean, it's one of these hard ones for people to answer, right? It's like, what's one message? But here's what I thought of. For the rest of your life, like, have fun.
Totally.
That I was like, it is your life, right? You don't owe anyone anything. Maybe your parents were making you, but beyond that, you don't owe going to a coffee meeting. You don't owe having to do different things unless you're like, even the job, like that guy doesn't own you or that woman doesn't own you. Like, it's your life. You choose, you're responsible for it, and have fun with that, right? I think people are spending a lot of time like, I got to make more money. For what? Like, I make more money and I don't I bought a nicer car and I was like, man, I really just want a Miata. I don't want a nicer car. Oh, a Miata's a nice car. And so ultimately, I think as long as you're having fun in your personal life, in your work life, in your exercise and health life, and your relationships, like, you will, I think, keep elevating yourself and you'll keep having a good time doing it.
Absolutely. Mr. Noah Kagan, I really, really appreciate your time. It's been absolutely incredible. And I want to thank you. And for anyone in the audience, make sure you guys check out okdork.com. Sumo.com, I believe, is the new domain that you just splurged on.
We spent $1.5 million.
Amazing. All right. So guys, go to sumo.com, not sumome.com. So Noah feels like he really is getting like every single one of those dollars out of it. Noah, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
All right, Jonathan, kick ass. This was fun.
Take care, brother.
All right, super friends, that's it for this week's episode. We hope you really, really enjoyed it and learned a ton of applicable stuff that can help you go out there and overcome the impossible. If so, please do us a favor and leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher or however you found this podcast. In addition to that, we are always looking for great guest posts on the blog or awesome guests right here on the podcast. So if you know somebody or you are somebody or you have thought of somebody who would be a great fit for the show or for our blog, please reach out to us either on Twitter or by email. Our email is info@becomingasuperhuman.com. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in to the Becoming Superhuman podcast. For more great skills and strategies, or for links to any of the resources mentioned in this episode, visit www.becomingasuperhuman.com/podcast. We'll see you next time.